everyone, this is Home Repair with Augie. Starting today on a staircase, some cracked plaster. Let me get you turned around here. So I used my utility knife to go along where this was bulged out. I've got it dug out and I've got mesh in here already. But I used the knife to cut that out, cut into the corner up and down there, and cut about, the tape that they used originally is about 2 inches, I guess. I got most of that, and I'll need to trim this out right here. It looks like I'm a little overlapped. So I just take the knife and go in there like that, and I can get that out of there. So anyway, I'll cut that out here when I get two hands on it. Can't do it now. So I'll dig it out, put that in there, and right there's a stress crack. These are very old cracks. This house is about 40 years old. Looks very nice, except for a couple spots like this. So probably some vinyl spackle will go in here. We'll dig this out just a little bit and put some vinyl spackle in that. That'll keep it flexible enough to, if there isn't any more movement, hopefully it won't crack too bad. Next thing is I'll get the joint compound out and get my first layer in there. If there's any of this overlapping onto the plaster, any of this mesh overlapping, I want to get that out of there because it'll show. We don't want little stitches. It'll look like stitches in the paint. All right, I got my joint compound there in that bucket. I got some on this 6-inch knife I'm going to use to start with here. I'll use the 3-inch knife to put on here, then we'll smear it up into that groove up there. But I got a pretty good load on there, as you can see. Okay. And just start in the corner. I don't fall down here. Start in the corner and just bring it this way. Let it overlap. Let it fill in. I'll come back, get some of that excess off of there. Bend it. I go over the top of it here. Kind of bend the knife away from the center on each side. Just to get it in there, this first shot here. It's going to be kind of messy. Not that messy. That's not very good. Okay, I did that on purpose to show you how you can, you got to be careful with this stuff. You don't want to fall down the steps. So it's an easy cleanup if something like that were to happen. I would never do anything like that by accident. It goes perfectly, just for instructional purposes. All right, so back to the action here. I want to make sure you don't have any voids in that. And remember, you're on a steps when you're doing this, and you won't fall like that accidentally for instructional purposes only. All right. Now, what happened here? Got a high spot here, it looks like, underneath that. And this stuff will happen. There's a little rock underneath the mesh. There we go. The stuff is pretty forgiving, Now I'm sweeping it along like that. I'm putting more pressure on the top part of the knife. Now I'm putting more pressure on the bottom part of the knife. And it gives me a little bit feathered out on the sides and then more in the middle. And you can work that if you need to, a little bit more. Which I'm going to do. I'll put a little bit more on there and go down through the middle again. And the next pass that I do, after this dries, I'll use the 10-inch knife. I'll sand this back a little bit and feather it. That looks pretty good. I left me a little ridge right in the center there. That's going to be fine. So, that's what it looks like right now. And this will get sanded. Then we'll get a 10-inch knife, and put a wider amount of joint compound on there. So I got the joint compound dried over the weekend. This is Monday morning here. So it shrinks up a little bit after you put it in that groove, that place that I had dug out a little bit. And I'm going to take this, my sander, and I'm going to go over this until it kind of knocks off the high edges. And then I'm going to take my 10-inch trowel and take it like from here out and then drop it down in here across. And that feathers that in, it closes that up, and it'll cause this, like when I sand it, it'll look smooth. It'll be raised a little bit, but not very much. I mean, you won't notice it. So I'm going to sand this a little bit, and then I'll get the joint compound going. All right, I've got my trowel, a 10-inch trowel here loaded up with joint compound. I'm going to start in the corner on this. This is my patch area right here. Okay. I sanded it back so the edges are feathered out. I don't want to drag the trowel across here, and you hit a lump or something, and it causes a ridge. You want it smooth to kind of go over it the second time. So I'm just going to come in here now and start the top, right in the corner there. I'm pressing on the top of the trowel more than the bottom. Now I'm pressing on the bottom more than the top. And I'm kind of getting the wrong angle here. Let's go this way. And right on out like that. Okay. I didn't quite have enough to finish between here and here. So I'm going to put a little more on there. Kind of redo this a little bit. Add a little bit more compound on there. You really can't mess this up. Because you can sand it and it'll go away if you mess something up. Or I could scrape all this back off of here right now and start over. But I'm not going to do that. I do need a little bit more right here. I'm going to drop down a little bit. Put some more on there. And when I'm down here, I'm putting pressure on this end of the blade. When I'm up here, I'm putting pressure on the top part of the blade. So you're going to fill up that void there where the crack was. I think I'm going to hit this just a little bit more. Add a little bit more joint compound here. Try not to get a lot of air in your compound. It'll leave little dots looking things up here, but when that dries, you sand it, you fill it in just with a skin coat. There we go. All right. Kind of working this a little bit more than you really need to usually. I'm just kind of on the steps here, and I'm having a hard time getting up the steps and doing it at the same time. There. All right, I'm going to quit right there. Okay, so we let that dry, and I'll show you what it looks like before I sand it again. It'll be probably tomorrow. I mean, I can't get it all in the same day, so got to let for that to dry. It's on there kind of heavy in the middle there. So we'll be back. Okay, I was just finished sanding this. This is that patch on the staircase. It's kind of disappeared. I just finished sanding that down, and there's a little bulge still across there, but it's not loose. So I let that go. So I just took out the loose paint, the loose plaster here, and boy, this is really smooth now. All I just did, give it a light sanding on the second sanding, and 3 coats of joint compound. The third coat was very thin, and I was able to sand that down. It's just there's no ridge there. It's nice and flat. You can't feel anything there. That'll paint up real nice. Well, I just finished this up. This will be the end of that little project right there. That's my sander that I use, just a really piece of really light sandpaper when you finish for the finish project, get the finish texture on the wall, make it nice and smooth. So that'll be it for this one, as I said, and hope you all have a blessed day. And if you like my videos, well, please like and subscribe and tell people about me. Thanks a lot. See you next time.